Okay, hello, welcome. This video is titled How to Set Up an FTP Server with CHROOT or JAILED users using Webmin and ProFTPd on a Ubuntu machine. What I mean by this is that we want users that are going to be able to log into the FTP server but are going to be confined to their own home directory and not be able to browse any other folder or file from the Ubuntu machine. This video might be a little bit long because I want to give you all the steps actually from scratch. Because we are going to use Webmin, I'm going to give you some details on how to install Webmin. Probably you already know how to install Webmin, but for the person who is just going to start from scratch, probably it's going to be a necessary step. Second step will be to install ProFTPd. It's a version of a FTPD server, but we are going to do it through Webmin. We are not going to install it using the command line of Ubuntu. Third step is set up the user, our FTP guest user, using the Ubuntu command line. There's some commands in there that we will use. And fourth step would be, again using Webmin, we will configure mainly ProFTPd, but also we have to touch FTP guest, so Webmin recognizes this user that was just created with the command line. And finally, we are going to do the testing of our work using FileZilla, and to make sure that the jailing actually works. Okay. Hopefully these commands are visible to you. You can always come back here and pause it if you want to write down those commands. From this point on, mainly we are going to use this is a Windows 8 machine. This serves the purpose, and we're going to use the terminal emulator. I have it already connected to my Ubuntu machine, which is 192.168.2.14, and this particular machine is a very old one that I just use for testing and for experiments. It's release 1610. It has only 4 gigabytes of memory. It's very slow, but it will serve the purpose. What else do I want to show here? This is just a terminal, and these are the commands that we are going to punch in. Again, this video might be a little bit long because we're going to do a lot of installation. I'll try to, while editing this, I'll try to speed up all this downloading and installation. Okay, let's go ahead and punch in these commands. Probably just to explain a little bit, this is the installation of Webmin. We're going to modify the sources.list to include the repository for Webmin. Then we are going to get the key for Webmin. We are going to add the key, and finally do the installation of Webmin. Okay, finally. So as you can see here, the way to run Webmin is using any browser. In this case, we will use the Mozilla Firefox, and we will log into Webmin. In this case, is the name of the machine colon 10,000. Saying localhost here will work as well. So let's go here and let's type. This is worth showing you. Don't be alarmed if you see this first message. The only thing that is saying is just that they want it to be a secure connection, and there is no this machine is not set up for a certificate, security certificate. So the only thing that we have to do is just click here, advance, and add the exception. And we are just going to say that it's going to be a security exception. So from now on we won't have any problem. Okay, so in this case I'm going to use my username, which is root as the same is a super user at the same time. So okay, so Webmin is a graphical console for any Linux system for people who are used to Microsoft Windows. Be very graphical. Clicking here and there to configure servers. This is very useful. Okay, so in this case, let's see what stage are we at now. So we have finished the installation of Webmin. We are at this second step, which is the installation of the ProFTPd server via Webmin. So these are the steps. We're going to launch Webmin. We did that already. We're going to go to the Webmin configuration, Webmin modules, and in that screen we will install the module for ProFTP. That doesn't mean that we're going to install the server, just we're going to install the interface module, you can call it, from Webmin to ProFTPd. If needed, we will install ProFTPd server via Webmin. Okay, so and then let's get to this step from now. So we go to Webmin, we go to configuration. As you can see, the CPU is being used, so it's a bit slow, this machine. And we go to Webmin modules. And we're going to install the standard module coming from webmin.com. We can type it, but we can search for it as well. And we're going to select ProFTPd. Select. And we don't have to change anything else in here. Install the module. Good. following modules have been successfully installed and added to your access control list. Okay, see if I click on here what happens. Aha, so this is good. The ProFTPd server could not be found on your system, and that's expected. This is a fairly empty system. That means that maybe it's not installed, and maybe it's not installed. That's, we know it's true because we just did the module configuration. So ProFTPd package can be automatically installed by Webmin. Click here, and this is recommended. Don't try to install ProFTPd using the apt-get install. Just try to use the Webmin itself to install it. So there is a complete connection. So basically Webmin will recognize the installation. So let's click here. Okay, that is just issuing the command for the apt-get install of ProFTPd. Okay, so installation complete. Return to ProFTPd server. Okay, so it sent us directly to the configuration of ProFTPd. In general, next time that you want to come into Webmin and go back to the configuration of ProFTPd, you will find it here in servers. So this is actually another thing that I wanted to show you. So this is the first time that we just finished the installation. As you can see, it's not in there. The reason that it's not is because it hasn't been configured at this point. It's just installed, but it hasn't been configured. Okay, so another thing that you can do also is every time that you're installing a new module, you should do refresh modules here. I think it's building a long list of modules. That's why it's taking too long. Okay, so I finished creating the list, but and then to find again the ProFTPd, we go here to unused modules. So as you can see, there are 55 installed and 56 not installed. And unused modules, we will search for ProFTPd server. So actually, in this case, I think I'm jumping a little bit ahead. Let's leave it for now here because I want to do something else before finishing the configuration. If we go back to the list of commands, we are at this stage. We just installed ProFTPd via Webmin. Now we are going to set up the user, the FTP guest user.